Back in August, many of you had the opportunity to participate in the first ever Oklahoma Gardening Survey and Evaluation. And we really want to thank all of you who had written in and requested that particular form. Now remember, Oklahoma Gardening is produced by the Cooperative Extension Service at Oklahoma State University. And like all of our extension programs, we want our participants to have the opportunity to evaluate and critique our educational programs, because remember, our sole purpose is to really identify the needs that you're needing in your gardening and be able to help you with those gardening endeavors. And I'd like to tell you that we had 403 requests for the surveys with an 89% return rate, and that's just fantastic. And again, we want to thank you for all your time and efforts that you put in that, and hope that you're getting those Gaillardia seeds planted as well. But let me show you over here on the map the geographic distribution of the request. It's quite phenomenal. You can see the state of Oklahoma here, and we've got great distribution across the entire state, of course with the clusters being Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And each map pin represents one of the requests that came in. You'll also see that we had requests from the Panhandle of Texas, also the southern portion of Kansas, and also the western part of Arkansas. So again, it goes to show you that our viewing audience encompasses the entire state of Oklahoma and parts of these adjoining states. So again, thank you all, especially our Oklahoma friends and the ones out of state as well. Now, the overall comments were very positive with a lot of support and encouragement, but I thought you'd also like to find out a little bit more about the demographics of some of the people that participated, and it kind of gives us a neat idea of what's going on and who's gardening here in the state of Oklahoma and in the viewing region. Well, the age group, we had several breakdowns, and the highest percentage in the age category was 26% between the ages of 36 and 45. And that really goes hand in hand with some of the statistics that OETA gives us about who the viewing audience is. But really it was widely distributed, with the lowest amount being between 18 and 25 years of age, and then again the rest of the categories were very equally distributed. So that kind of gives you an idea of some of the viewers that are watching. Now, as far as years of gardening experience, the highest category was over 25 years at 34%, but next in line was 5 to 10 years of experience. So there's a big gap there, and again, we've got some very experienced gardeners as well as some that are very new, and that tells us again that we have to be very sensitive in trying to promote the program and some of our topics, and it's hard to really talk on the level that we need to reach the entire audience, but again, it tells us just what we're looking at and how we need to deal with those particular types of groups. Now, another interesting fact is the hours spent in a week maintaining the garden and landscape, and the highest percentage was 37% at 5 to 10 hours a week. And really, that's the way it should be. We shouldn't spend all of our time in the garden where it becomes a burden. It should be fun, it should be rejuvenating, and the majority of you are only spending 5 to 10 hours a week, with 11 to 20 next, and very few of you spend more than 25 hours in the garden or landscape. So again, it tells us you want something simple, low maintenance, and something enjoyable as well. Now, years in watching Oklahoma gardening, the highest percentage again was 47% between 1 and 5 years. Again, that's pretty young audience, so to speak, as far as the number of years I've been watching. And the show, remember, has been on now for 16 years, and 17% have been watching it that entire time. Also, it was quite interesting to see that the vegetable gardens are really shrinking in size. The highest percentage was under 100 square feet, and that's pretty small when you think about vegetable gardens, especially with the rural areas. But remember, the majority of our responses came from the urban areas too, so that may have some limitations on it. And then, not surprisingly, the average lawn size was over 1,000 square feet, but under an acre. And again, I think that's very typical in most Oklahoma situations. Now, the major program topics, again, there really wasn't a lot of surprise there. You still want to see more on vegetables and ornamentals, pest control, soils, and fertilizers, but we also saw a great increase in wanting to see more home garden tours and also research updates. And overall, it seems that really Oklahoma gardening has been beneficial in teaching you new things and maybe encouraging you to implement new practices. And again, that's the bottom line, is the education and the services that we can offer for you. Now, some specific comments dealt with questions of maybe possibly airing a third Oklahoma gardening program or one of our reruns possibly during the week or at a different time. And of course, those are great questions, and we hear that quite a bit, but let me encourage you that OETA has a lot of control over that, and you really need to express your concerns and write to them or call them and let them know what you think about the air times as well. And another question was, surprisingly, a lot of you were interested about our Oklahoma gardening t-shirts and caps that you see us wearing from time to time on the show. And if you'd like to get one of those, you can pick up an order form at your county extension office. Well, again, we want to thank all of you who participated, and it's real obvious that you just take a great deal of pride in Oklahoma gardening, and we really will listen to the program content and your suggestions, and it will be taken into account for next year's programming. And remember, we want you to feel that this is your program, and suggestions and comments are welcome anytime, and you can write to us anytime. And again, we really want to thank you for your participation. And also, that's all the time we've got today on Oklahoma gardening. We want to encourage you to come back and watch us again next weekend.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.